Something is crossing our solar system right now. It came from outside, from the space between stars. Scientists say it's a comet, but millions of people believe it's something else entirely. They believe it's here for a reason. And what that reason might be is dividing the internet. This is the story of 3I Atlas and why so many people think this ancient visitor is about to change everything. On July 1st, 2025, a telescope in Chile picked up something unusual, a faint object moving fast. At first, it looked like just another space rock. But when astronomers calculated where it came from, they realized this was no ordinary visitor. This object didn't originate anywhere near Earth. It came from deep space, from somewhere among the stars of our galaxy. And it's only the third time in human history we've ever caught something like this passing through. The telescope that found it is called ATLAS. It stands for Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System. Think of it as a cosmic security camera, constantly scanning the sky for anything that might threaten Earth. It's part of NASA's planetary defense network. But 3I Atlas isn't a threat. It's a guest, one that's just passing through and will never return. Here's what makes this object so unusual. It's old, really old. Based on its path through the galaxy, scientists estimate it could be anywhere from 5 to nearly 10 billion years old. To put that in perspective, our entire solar system, including the Sun and Earth, and everything we know, is only about 4.5 billion years old. This means 3I Atlas may have been drifting through the darkness of space for billions of years before our planet even existed, before our sun ignited, before there was anything here at all. It's also big. Estimates suggest it could be up to 3.5 miles wide, potentially the largest object from outside our solar system that we've ever seen, and it's moving fast. When it was first spotted, it was traveling at over 130,000 miles per hour. As it swung closer to the sun, it sped up to over 150,000 miles per hour. That's fast enough to travel from New York to Los Angeles in about a minute. Fast enough to circle the entire Earth in under 10 minutes. Now, what's inside this thing? Scientists have used some of the most powerful telescopes on Earth and in space to find out. They've detected frozen carbon dioxide, water ice, and organic compounds, the kinds of complex carbon-based molecules that form the building blocks of life. The object even has a faint glow of X-rays surrounding it, extending out for nearly 250,000 miles. That's something we've never detected around an interstellar visitor before. But here's where the story takes a turn. There are details about 3I Atlas that have raised eyebrows even among scientists. Its path through our solar system is almost perfectly aligned with the plane where all the planets orbit. Imagine our solar system as a flat disk with the sun in the center and all the planets moving around it on that disk. Most objects from deep space come in at random angles from above, below, wherever. But 3I Atlas came in almost perfectly flat, right along that disk. The odds of a random object from interstellar space lining up this precisely? Less than 1 in 20,000. It's also speeding up slightly in ways that gravity alone doesn't fully explain. Scientists call this non-gravitational acceleration. There are natural explanations. Jets of gas escaping from the surface can push a comet like a tiny rocket engine. But the acceleration of 3I Atlas is still being studied. And then there's the trajectory. Its path brings it remarkably close to Mars, then Venus, then Earth, and finally Jupiter, almost like it's making a tour of our planetary neighborhood. NASA says there's a natural explanation for all of this. The alignment could be a statistical fluke. Improbable things happen. The acceleration is likely from outgassing. The planetary flybys are coincidence. But not everyone is convinced. And that skepticism, that sense that something bigger might be happening, has sparked a global conversation that goes far beyond astronomy. To understand why 3I Atlas has captured so much attention, you need to know something important. It's not alone. In the past 8 years, we've detected 3 objects from outside our solar system, 3 visitors from interstellar space. And that's 3 more than we'd ever seen in all of recorded human history. Think about that for a moment. For thousands of years, we had no idea these objects even existed. Then, suddenly, in less than a decade, 3 of them show up, and each one is different. The first arrived in 2017. Scientists named it Oumuamua, a Hawaiian word meaning scout or messenger, and from the moment it was discovered, it was strange. Unlike any comet or asteroid we'd ever seen, Oumuamua was shaped like a cigar about 400 meters long but only 40 meters wide, 10 times longer than it was thick. It had no tail, no glowing cloud of gas around it, none of the features you'd expect from a comet. And here's the part that made headlines around the world. Oumuamua was speeding up as it left our solar system, and scientists couldn't fully explain why. The acceleration wasn't huge, just a tiny push, but it shouldn't have been there at all based on gravity alone. A Harvard astrophysicist named Avi Loeb made a controversial suggestion. What if Oumuamua wasn't natural at all? What if it was a piece of alien technology, a probe, a solar sail, something built by another civilization and sent across the stars? Most scientists dismiss the idea as speculation, but the question lingered, and Oumuamua became the first interstellar object to make people seriously ask, are we being visited? Then, 2 years later, in 2019, a second visitor arrived. This one was discovered by an amateur astronomer in Crimea and named Borisov after him. Unlike Oumuamua, Borisov looked and behaved like a normal comet. It had a beautiful tail streaming behind it. It followed predictable physics. Its composition was surprisingly similar to comets born right here in our own solar system. In many ways, Borisov calmed the alien speculation. It showed that objects from other star systems could be perfectly ordinary, just chunks of ice and rock, similar to what we find closer to home. Nothing mysterious, nothing artificial, just another comet from very far away. But then came 3I Atlas in 2025, and everything changed again. 3I Atlas is the largest of the three visitors. It's the brightest, and according to scientific analysis, it's by far the oldest, possibly twice the age of our solar system. Scientists traced its path backward through the galaxy and concluded it originated from what's called the thick disk, a region populated by ancient stars that formed during the earliest, most violent period of the Milky Way's history. And unlike Oumuamua, 3I Atlas is clearly a comet. It has a glowing cloud of gas, a tail, all the classic features. But unlike Borisov, it has those strange trajectory anomalies. The precise alignment, the unexplained acceleration, the planetary tour. For spiritual communities watching this unfold, the pattern is unmistakable. 3 visitors in less than a decade, after none in recorded history. Each one different, each one more significant than the last. The youngest arrived first. Then a middle-aged one, now the ancient elder. To them, this isn't random. The cosmos, they say, is trying to get our attention. This idea that celestial events carry meaning isn't new. In fact, it might be one of the oldest beliefs in human history. For thousands of years, every culture on Earth has looked up at comets and seen something more than ice and rock. They've seen messages, warnings, signs from the gods, turning points in human affairs. The ancient Babylonians, some of the first people to keep detailed astronomical records, viewed comets as harbingers of disaster. When a comet appeared, kings consulted their priests. Wars were postponed. Sacrifices were made. The appearance of a comet could change the course of empires. In ancient China, comets were called broom stars, believed to sweep away the old and make room for the new. Chinese emperors employed official sky watchers whose only job was to track these objects and interpret what they meant for the empire. A comet could signal the fall of a dynasty or the rise of a new era. The Greeks and Romans saw comets as omens, sometimes good, sometimes catastrophic, depending on the circumstances. When Julius Caesar was assassinated in 44 BC, a bright comet appeared in the sky shortly after. Romans believed it was Caesar's soul ascending to the heavens, taking its place among the gods. His adopted son, Octavian, who would become the Emperor Augustus, used that comet as propaganda, minting coins with the image to cement his divine right to rule. When Halley's Comet appeared in 1066, just before the Norman invasion of England, King Harold saw it as a sign of doom. William the Conqueror saw the same comet and took it as divine approval for his attack. William won. Harold died in battle. The comet was later immortalized in the Bayeux Tapestry, depicted as a fiery omen above the doomed English king. Even in modern times, comets have triggered extraordinary reactions. When Hale-Bopp appeared in 1997, 39 members of a group called Heaven's Gate took their own lives, believing the comet was accompanied by a spacecraft that would carry their souls to a higher plane. It remains one of the most tragic examples of celestial events, inspiring extreme belief. The point isn't whether these beliefs were right or wrong. The point is this: for as long as humans have existed, we've looked at comets and felt that they mean something. That instinct seems to be wired into us. And now, in 2025, an ancient visitor from the stars arrives at a moment when millions of people already feel the world is at a turning point. Is it any surprise that 3I Atlas has become a lightning rod for those searching for deeper meaning? So what exactly do spiritual communities believe 3I Atlas is here to do? The central idea goes something like this: 3I Atlas is not a random cosmic event. It's not just a ball of ice that happened to wander into our solar system. It's a catalyst divinely timed to arrive at this specific moment in human history. Its purpose isn't to collide with anything or threaten anyone. Its purpose is to trigger a shift in consciousness, a global awakening. This belief shows up in four main themes across spiritual communities worldwide. The first theme is that 3I Atlas is acting as a kind of cosmic tuning fork. The idea is that the object carries frequencies or energies from distant parts of the galaxy, what some call light codes, that are designed to activate dormant potential within human beings. Believers say these aren't physical signals that a radio telescope could detect. They're energetic or vibrational in nature, something felt rather than measured. As the comet passes through our solar system, these frequencies supposedly interact with Earth's energy field and with individuals who are ready to receive. The result, believers say, is accelerated spiritual growth, heightened intuition, expanded awareness, and a deeper connection to one's true self. The second theme is breakdown. Many in these communities see 3I Atlas as an accelerant for the collapse of outdated systems, governments, economies, institutions, belief structures that no longer serve humanity's highest good. The comet's arrival, they say, marks the beginning of the end for the old construct. What's falling apart in the world right now isn't random chaos. It's directed clearing, making space for something new to emerge. The third theme is personal transformation. People in spiritual communities around the world have reported unusual experiences since 3I Atlas entered our solar system. Vivid dreams, sometimes prophetic in nature. Emotional purging old grief, anger, or trauma suddenly surfacing to be processed and released. Feelings of heightened sensitivity. Physical symptoms like fatigue or buzzing sensations. Some describe it as their nervous system being rewired or their DNA being activated. Whether these experiences are caused by the comet or simply coincide with its arrival is impossible to prove. But the reports are widespread and remarkably consistent. The fourth theme is collective divergence. This is the idea that humanity is splitting into different paths or timelines. Those who wake up during this window will move toward a higher state of consciousness, what some call the new Earth. Those who remain attached to fear or the old paradigm will stay behind on a different trajectory. 3I Atlas, in this view, represents a choice point, a fork in the road for the human species. And then there's the most dramatic belief of all, that 3I Atlas isn't a comet at all. Some claim it's a vessel, a mothership, carrying beings from another dimension or star system. They point to the unexplained anomalies in its trajectory as evidence that it's under intelligent control. In their view, what NASA calls a comet is actually a portal, a bridge between this reality and what they call the new Earth. If you're finding this exploration fascinating, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss the next video in this series. We're going deep into the 3I Atlas phenomenon. Drop a comment below. What do you think this interstellar visitor is here to do? One of the more remarkable aspects of the 3I Atlas phenomenon is the number of people who claim to have received direct communication from the object or from beings associated with it. This practice is called channeling. It's essentially a form of deep meditation where individuals claim to quiet their own thoughts and allow messages from other intelligences to come through, whether those intelligences are extraterrestrial beings, higher dimensional entities, or aspects of universal consciousness. It's controversial, of course. Skeptics see it as imagination or wishful thinking. Believers see it as genuine contact with higher wisdom. What's interesting is how consistent the channeled messages about 3i Atlas have been, even from sources that don't appear to be connected to each other. One channeler, who posted his session on a popular spiritual website, described opening communication with beings aboard 3i Atlas. The message he received was calm and reassuring. "We are here as observers," they reportedly said. "Perhaps assistance, if it comes to that. This is a time of great awakening. We have visited before. This is nothing new. We come at these pivotal times when humanity's path of ascension to a higher level of consciousness becomes apparent." When asked whether their presence was helpful or harmful, the response was simple. "At this stage, our presence is neutral. We do not interfere, we observe. We support where invited." The message emphasized that there was nothing to fear, that 3i Atlas is a natural phenomenon, divinely timed, and that humanity should focus not on the object itself, but on its own inner development. A different channeler, an astrologer who enters meditative states to communicate with celestial bodies, reported contact with what she described as a feminine goddess energy. She called this presence Atla, and said it identified itself as having embodied in the form of the comet to deliver a specific message to humanity. That message centered on balance. Atla reportedly said she was here to help restore equilibrium between masculine and feminine energies on Earth, energies that have been out of balance for thousands of years. "We are helping women stand in their power and share their light with the world in that special way that only women can do," the message stated. "We are also bringing a softness to men so they may reconnect to their hearts and learn how to care for themselves deeply." The ultimate goal, according to this channeling, was to help humanity return to wholeness and integration of both energies within each person. A third source, a website dedicated to what it calls Galactic Federation messages, published transmissions claiming that 3i Atlas is carrying specific frequencies from star systems including Vega, Lyra, and Sirius. These frequencies, the messages claim, are being transmitted through solar radiation into Earth's energy field, where they activate dormant strands of human DNA and awaken what they call starseed memories. The transmissions describe this as an opt-in process. The codes only activate in people who consciously choose to receive them. There's no forcing, no invasion, just an invitation extended through the cosmos itself. Across all these sources, certain themes repeat again and again. There is nothing to fear. Humanity is at a pivotal moment. The comet is here to support, not to harm. And most importantly, the real transformation happens within. 3i Atlas, according to these messages, isn't doing anything to us. It's reflecting back what we're ready to become. For those who follow astrology, the timing of 3i Atlas couldn't be more significant. On February 20th, 2026, two major planets, Saturn and Neptune, will meet at 0 degrees Aries. This is called a conjunction when two planets occupy the same point in the sky. And this particular conjunction is extraordinary for several reasons. First, it happens at 0 degrees Aries, the very first degree of the entire zodiac. Astrologers call this the world axis, or the creator degree. It's considered the point of pure beginning, the spark of creation, where new cycles are born. Having a major planetary event at this exact degree is seen as cosmically rare and significant, a reset button for the collective. Second, Saturn and Neptune conjunctions are rare. They only happen about once every 36 years, and they have a track record of coinciding with major historical turning points. The last Saturn-Neptune conjunction was in 1989, the year the Berlin Wall fell, the Soviet Union began to collapse, and the entire global order shifted. The one before that was in 1953, as the post-war world was being reshaped. These conjunctions have historically coincided with the dissolution of old structures and the birth of new ones. Saturn represents structure, reality, limits, discipline, and form the hard edges of material existence. Neptune represents dreams, spirituality, dissolution, imagination, and transcendence, the boundless realm beyond physical form. When they come together, astrologers say, the boundaries between the real and the imagined become thin. What seemed solid can melt away. What was only a vision can suddenly become possible. Now look at the timing of 3I Atlas. The comet was discovered in the summer of 2025, just as Saturn and Neptune were moving into position for their historic meeting. The comet's closest approach to Earth, December 19, 2025, falls just 2 days before the winter solstice, the astronomical moment when light begins to return after the longest night of the year. And the comet's encounter with Jupiter, March 16, 2026, comes less than a month after the exact Saturn-Neptune conjunction. For astrologers, this synchronicity is impossible to ignore. 3I Atlas, they say, is moving in concert with one of the most significant astrological events in decades. Add to this the numerology. 2025, when added together, equals 9, traditionally a number of completion, endings, and clearing. 2026 adds up to 1, the number of new beginnings, fresh starts, and pioneering energy. The comet arrives during the year of ending and departs during the year of beginning. Coincidence? Maybe. But for those who see meaning in cosmic patterns, 3I Atlas appears to be perfectly timed, a messenger arriving at the exact moment the heavens themselves are resetting. So if 3I Atlas really is carrying transformative energy, whether you believe that literally or metaphorically, how do you work with it? What are people actually doing? Across spiritual communities, several practices have emerged. Think of these not as prescriptions, but as invitations, ways that people are choosing to engage with this moment. The most common recommendation is simple: ground yourself. Practitioners emphasize that times of collective intensity require strong personal boundaries. When everyone around you is reacting, whether with fear, excitement, or confusion, it's easy to absorb that energy without realizing it. The advice is to know the difference between your own feelings and the energy of the crowd. Daily meditation and breathwork are suggested as foundations. One teacher recommends a specific visualization. Imagine breathing in golden light that anchors in your core. As you exhale, watch any energy that isn't yours, the anxiety, the hype, the collective noise dissolve and drift away. Another practice involves visualizing a sphere of protective light surrounding you. Blue-white is commonly suggested, creating a boundary between your energy field and the collective chaos. For those who want a more active practice, several guided meditations have been shared online. A common one involves sitting quietly, taking deep breaths, and imagining a soft wave of crystalline light entering through the top of your head, then spiraling down through your body. The visualization sometimes includes picturing the comet's tail as a thread of light connecting to your own energy field. Some have shared rituals tied to specific dates, particularly around the comet's closest approach to the Sun or its closest approach to Earth near the winter solstice. One ritual involves writing down what you want to release: fears, old patterns, limiting beliefs, stories that no longer serve you, then safely burning the paper by candlelight while speaking words of intention. The idea is that just as the comet burns brightest when it nears the Sun, you can use that symbolic moment to let go of what no longer serves your highest path. Journaling is another common practice. Suggested prompts include questions like, "What timeline do I want to align with?" and "What choices support my highest path?" Some people are tracking their dreams during this period, looking for recurring symbols or unusual vividness. But perhaps the most consistent piece of advice across all these sources is this: don't get swept up in collective hysteria. One spiritual teacher put it bluntly: do not unite your energy with the chaos around the comet. Be aware, but unattached. Observe without feeding fear or fantasy. The comet, in this view, is a mirror. It reflects what you bring to it. Approach with fear, and you'll find reasons to be afraid. Approach with openness and grounded presence, and you may find something very different. The key message is that transformation doesn't come from the comet. It comes from within. 3I Atlas might be a catalyst, but you're the one who has to do the work. Now, let's be clear about something important. The scientific consensus is that 3I Atlas is a natural object, an ancient comet from another star system. passing through our solar system on a trajectory it's probably been following for billions of years. NASA has stated this plainly and repeatedly. The object shows all the classic signs of cometary activity: a glowing coma, a tail, the expected chemical signatures. The Breakthrough Listen project, the world's most sophisticated search for extraterrestrial intelligence, pointed their most powerful radio telescopes at 3I Atlas during its closest approach to Earth and found no artificial signals. Nothing that looked like technology. Nothing that suggested intelligence. The strange acceleration, likely caused by jets of gas escaping from the comet's surface as it heats up near the sun, a phenomenon scientists call outgassing. We've observed this in other comets. It can push an object in unexpected directions without any mysterious force required. The precise trajectory? Unusual, yes, but not impossible. Statistically improbable events happen all the time in a universe this vast. Someone wins the lottery every week. It's improbable for any individual, but inevitable that someone will win. Avi Loeb, the Harvard astrophysicist who suggested Oumuamua might be artificial, has been more measured about 3I Atlas. He's given it a 4 on his 10-point scale of potential artificial origin, acknowledging the anomalies while stopping short of claiming it's anything other than natural. He's called for continued observation and open-minded inquiry. But he hasn't declared it a spacecraft. The balanced perspective might be this: the scientific data doesn't support the idea that 3I Atlas is artificial or carrying conscious beings. But the scientific data also doesn't invalidate the experiences people are having. If someone feels a shift in their awareness during this time, has profound dreams, or finds themselves asking deeper questions about existence, those experiences are real, even if they can't be measured by a telescope. One thoughtful writer put it this way: the experiential reports of shifts in consciousness, while subjective and unquantifiable, represent genuine human phenomena that deserve respect even if they resist material measurement. The invitation, she suggested, is to maintain discernment to distinguish authentic intuition from projection. Perhaps the most grounded spiritual perspective comes from a transmission that stated simply, 3I Atlas does not deliver awakening. It reflects integration. In other words, the comet doesn't give you anything you don't already have. If you're doing the inner work, it might amplify that. If you're not, no amount of cosmic energy will do it for you. The comet is a mirror, not a magic wand. So, what happens next? 3I Atlas is currently heading outward from the Sun, growing fainter as it moves away from Earth. By late January 2026, it will be visible all night for those with telescopes, but it will be dim, a fading point of light in the constellation Leo. Then comes March 16, 2026, the Jupiter encounter. This is the event that has both scientists and spiritual communities paying close attention. 3I Atlas will pass within about 33 million miles of Jupiter, remarkably close to what scientists call Jupiter's Hill radius. That's the invisible boundary around a planet where its gravity dominates over the Sun's gravitational pull. Objects that pass inside this boundary can be significantly affected. NASA's Juno spacecraft, currently orbiting Jupiter, may be able to observe the encounter. Scientists have studied the possibility of redirecting Juno to get a closer look, though the spacecraft is low on fuel and such a maneuver would be risky. Avi Loeb has speculated, and he emphasizes this is purely theoretical, that if 3I Atlas were artificial, the Jupiter encounter would be an opportunity to release smaller objects into orbit around the gas giant. Discovering a fresh 96th moon around Jupiter after March 16th, he wrote, would constitute a clear technological signature. He's not predicting this will happen. He's simply noting what scientists should watch for. After Jupiter, 3I Atlas continues outward. It will cross Saturn's orbit in July 2026, Uranus's orbit in April 2027, and Neptune's orbit in March 2028. And then, it's gone. Forever. Back into the void between stars, never to return. For spiritual communities, the Jupiter encounter holds special significance. Jupiter represents expansion, growth, and higher wisdom. The encounter happens less than a month after the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, the reset point astrologers have been watching. Some see March 2026 as a culmination, a final transmission before the messenger departs. So what is 3I Atlas really here to do? After researching this story, I can tell you there's no single answer. There are at least 6 different narratives circulating. Some say it's a wake-up call forcing humanity to confront the reality that we're not alone in this vast universe. Others say it's an energetic catalyst carrying frequencies that accelerate spiritual growth in those who are ready. Some see it as a timeline marker, a cosmic signpost indicating that one age is ending and another beginning. Others call it a mirror, reflecting back to humanity, our own readiness for change. Some believe it's here to restore balance, particularly between masculine and feminine energies. And some insist it's not a comet at all, but a vessel, carrying observers from elsewhere who have come to witness a pivotal moment in human evolution. But maybe the most important question isn't what the comet is here to do. Maybe it's what we're being called to do. For the first time in human history, we're watching an interstellar visitor with full scientific awareness. Our ancestors looked up at comets and saw messages from the gods. They didn't have the technology to know these objects came from other star systems. They just felt that the cosmos was speaking to them. We have that technology now. We know where 3I Atlas came from. We can measure its composition, track its trajectory, analyze its chemistry down to the molecular level. And yet, despite all that knowledge, or maybe because of it, millions of people still feel that this visitor means something. Maybe the message isn't in the comet. Maybe it's in the fact that we're looking, that we're asking questions, that we're searching for meaning in a universe that often feels random and cold. 3I Atlas will continue its journey into the cosmic unknown. Within a few years, it will be beyond the reach of our most powerful telescopes, a fading memory in the data archives. The question is, what will we do with this moment? Will we let it pass like any other news story? Or will we use it as an invitation to look inward, to ask bigger questions, to consider our place in a universe far stranger and more mysterious than we usually allow ourselves to believe? That's what spiritual communities believe 3I Atlas is really here to do. But I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below with your thoughts. Is this a cosmic catalyst for consciousness? Or just a beautiful ball of ancient ice passing through? If this resonated with you, smash that like button and subscribe for the next video where we go even deeper into the 3I Atlas phenomenon. Until next time, stay curious, stay open, and keep looking up.